I have to admit something. I thought that when I played on Peninsula, when I used my sub-commander strategy, I thought I used Admiral Brickell. I went back and watched that video again, and it turns out I was wrong all along. I used Silas on Peninsula. I also used Silas on another brick. I also used Silas on Dark Castle. So that means I have not used Brickell in the series, and I've used Silas 3 times, in which I am making him a dark green and making his text white. That is a huge blunder. I thought I had used every hero to beat a CHIMPS map in BTD6, but I was wrong. And what does that mean? We're on episode 25, and I am not playing an intermediate map or an advanced map. I'm playing another expert map. We're doing Flooded Valley today, and we are using Admiral Brickell. We're going to give her the justice she deserves, and we're going to get into it. I did do half cash. I'm going to show you guys how I beat that. Alright, I low-key forgot to turn my mic on when I was doing this, but here's what I did for half cash. I used 2024 subs with Silas and a couple destroyers, a couple icicles, and an embrittlement at the top. I started with 2 subs, 2 base subs, and then I afforded Silas. I got Silas up, and then I started upgrading my subs to triple guns, and then I got an icicles up with the top path, cross path, and then pretty much from there it was smooth sailing. So used Silas abilities when I needed to. But this half cash was actually probably the easiest out of the expert maps. So yeah, wasn't too bad. But yeah, let's get back into the Chimps run and let's give Brickell the justice she deserves. But we are going to get into the run and use the hero I thought I had already used. We're going to start with double mermonkeys. I'm probably going to do one. I'm actually probably going to do one right here in the prime real estate spot, and then the other one will be right about here so that I can get it to shoot down a straight line. Let's see if that is enough to beat round 6. I think double mermonkey is the strat on this map. And yeah, round 6 goes down. Let's see if we can beat round 7. And if we can, I'm going to get a sub. Except I'm $5 short, so now we can get a sub. I'm going to put him right next to this mermonkey. And that should allow us to hopefully save up for Brickell. I'm not 100% sure if I can. This is actually my first attempt at this run. And I have a strategy. It is going to be a tier 5 that I have not used yet in the series. That tier 5 is the last tier 5 for the mermonkey. I'm going to try to use a Lord of the Abyss strategy today by pierce buffing a ton of subs, and maybe, just maybe, I can use the preemptive strike on the sub. I haven't figured that out quite yet, but I do know for a fact we are going to use the Lord of the Abyss. In my stream bed run, I only did one tier 5, which was the permabrew, but I'm starting to get to the point where there's not a lot of tier 5s left. When I can put, well, if I was fast enough, I could have put Brickell down before the end of the round, but I wasn't fast enough. Surely that's not going to come back to bite me, but I could have had a little bit better positioning too, so I kind of got screwed. But that'll be okay, hopefully. I think on this top mermonkey I am going to get Echo Sense, so that we have camo for later, and the homing on the spears should be able to hit more balloons. And so far, we're doing okay. I suppose we'll get Echo Sense. I could get Echo Sense on both. I think I'm going to get Twin Guns on the sub first. And then we should be good after that. So Admiral Brickell with her boat, or with her bombs, those are going to be able to pierce a lot of these more grouped balloons. And this is a pretty solid strategy so far. I'm going to get Echo Sense on the other mermonkey. And I don't know if this is the mermonkey I'm going to make into the Lord of the Abyss, or if I'm going to get another one like over here or over here. Maybe I'll get one over here. And then I can get like an EchoSense army later. So let's get one here. We've got both of these on EchoSense. We'll get EchoSense on the third one as well. And we are going to need some lead popping power. We have the Brickell bombs, but that's not a consistent source of lead popping. So I think I am just going to get a 100 sniper on strong. That will guarantee that we have lead popping power for the early game. And I think next up, I want to get a 204 sub. We should be able to get air burst mid round 25. And that will definitely allow us to breeze through this early game. I will get longer range as well. I do want to eventually get advanced intel. And after that, I might just go into a third tier mermonkey. There we go. We've got the advanced intel, so we can shoot all the way up there. We can pretty much shoot from the top almost to the bottom. But there we go. With the sniper, we've got consistent lead popping power. That's good to see. And I think I'm just gonna go into a triple gun. Since I have 3 EchoSense mermonkeys, I should be able to take out round 33 with no problems. But just to be safe, I'm gonna get Trident efficiency on the middle mermonkey with Trident swiftness. And I will wait on the EchoSense network because I don't have any up yet. I'll probably buy them all together, but I want to save up for the Abyss Dweller. I would like to have AP darts and Abyss Dweller before round 40, and I think that'll be feasible. And then I don't know actually how much the Abyssal Warrior is. I think it's like 40, yeah, 4,500. So as it stands so far, we're doing okay. I do want to make sure that this Abyss Dweller is in the range of the sub, and it is. Now with Brickell, we're doing a good job of mine stacking, or the bomb stacking, so if anything gets to the middle, as it does on 35, we're going to be okay. But we should be having a lot of bombs for round 40, if the mob does make its way to the middle. Round 36 has a lot of group balloons, but with the Abyss Dweller, we have a Pierce buff to our sub, so we're okay there. And now I can get AP darts mid-round 37, and we should be alright. Since we have the intel on the sub, camos are going to be no longer an issue. But what might be an issue is leads. The leads on 37 just ate up all of my Brickell bombs, so what I'm going to do for round 38 is get even faster firing on my sniper just to clear them out a bit quicker. And now that we have our AP darts with the Abyss Dweller, I think I can get large caliber for a little bit extra Moab damage before round 40. And then I think I'm going to get these 3 EchoSense networks up, just so the sub has a little bit more range. Now it can hit everything from like right here all the way to almost the bottom. For the start around 40, I'm going to use Brickell's level 3, I can't remember what it's called for the life of me, Naval Tactics, of course. And then level 7 is the Blast Chain, which gives Brickell camo detection and increased attack range. And then the sea mines are faster, so that's actually a pretty decent ability. We can use that when we need it. But the next thing I'm going to go for is the Abyssal Warrior. And we should be able to save up for it just fine. Yeah, round 42, these camos are no issue. Round 43 will be a big tell. I'll just use my Naval Tactics because this can be a tricky round. And then at the end of 43, we can get our Abyssal Warrior. And now we have a pretty decent mid-game setup. I am going to get this sniper over here to Deadly Precision, just because it is very much worth it for the cost. It got a price nerf, or a price buff, made it cheaper, and it does 20 damage instead of 7. So having a sniper that's already worth about $2,500, that only does 7 damage, I think it's worth it to get a $2,300 upgrade that makes it do almost triple that damage. From this point, I'm a little bit curious as to what I'm going to do for the rest of this run. I am going to get another... I don't think I need to get the mermonkey like in like a good spot, but I just want to get another EchoSense just to increase the range, have the sniper or have the sub be able to attack at the very front of the map, and then I think I'll actually get one over here as well. Maybe I'll put it right here. Does that allow me to get an ice monkey in between? I mean, Kind of, yeah. Alright, now we have full map range with the 5 Echo Sense buffs, and then the Abyssal Warrior is able to hit a pretty good chunk of the track now. And I think with this setup, I want to see how 49 and 50 go before I really jump the gun and start saving up for this Lord of the Abyss. Because it still does leave me vulnerable for round 63. The Lord of the Abyss is good, but it's more of a support option that gives you a ton of Pierce. Its damage on its own isn't the best. But that being said, it is still a pretty solid tier 5. And we are we're defending these rounds pretty well. So I think what I want to go for is the Lord of the Abyss. I'm about $10,000 away. I should be able to get it before round 60, and hopefully at that point I have the ability to get a little bit of support for round 63. I'm thinking like an Icicles. If I can just get one down, we should be okay. Maybe I'll put it in the middle of the track, like right above the, what's this called? Brickell. But yeah, we're holding on. I think I'm just going to keep on letting these rounds play out. Abyssal Warrior is doing a good job. If I need to, I will use a Naval Tactics. I think for the last wave, I'm going to use the, what's it called? Blast? Something? Mind Blast? Or, what's it called? Blast Chain. Yes, yes. Something with the word blast in it. Round 56 is okay because we have full map camo. Especially with the Echo Sense. I think the only thing that can't detect camo right now is Brickell. Alright, for the second wave of Moabs, I am going to use Naval Tactics, and that actually allows me to afford Lord of the Abyss in the middle of round 57, which is awesome. And now I'm wondering, do I just go for the remaining Echo Sense buffs, or should I do something else? I think I'll go for a couple more Echo Sense. Yeah, this one gives pretty good range. Maybe I'll put one over here, because then that'll hit the track. If I use a Naval Tactics, I can beat round 59, so that's good. And how many do I have now? 7? I think that'll be okay. Yeah, round 60 is going to go down. Now I need something for round 63, and I think it's going to be an Ice Tower. I think I'll just put it like, I'll put it right up here, kind of where it is able to aim down this line, and then hit these as well. So when I get, I actually might need camo detection, huh? I'm gonna get a cryo cannon for now. If we can get Icicles straight up before round 63, I'll just get the 004 and then cross path it later. And there we go, mid round 62, we do have Icicles afforded. And I think I do want to get Permafrost, and then eventually Cold Snap, and we have just enough money to afford. For the first wave around 63, I will use a Naval Tactics just to be safe. And then for the second wave, I'll do Blast Chain. We'll use that a little bit early. And we're not actually going to have our Naval Tactics back for the last wave, so we have to hope and pray. Oh wow, oh my goodness, between the Icicles and the Lord of the Abyss, we absolutely annihilated round 63. The Pierce is really, really nice. Okay, well that's very good to see. I think I'm going to get a couple more Mermonkeys. I'm just going to put this one kind of away from the track. I'll put this one kind of away from the track, but still in a range where he can see. And then we just need one more of these guys. I'll put him... Maybe I'll put him here. Honestly, he probably should be able to hit the track. Wow, that's awesome. So, the Lord of the Abyss almost has full map range at this point. I think what I'm going to go for next is another Ice Monkey. I want to put him down here. I'll put him actually, like, I'll shove him right in between here. To the left of the sub, and then right in between the sub and the Mermonkey. And I'm going to get an Arctic Wind, and eventually get a Snowstorm. And this will give me a land platform to put some stuff down here, put some stuff over here, and we should be okay. And then I do need to get Cold Snap, because that will allow us to use the Snowstorm ability on DDTs. As much as I would love to get larger radius to be able to have a bigger platform, I think that the top path is more needed. Because what I want to get is a village, to be able to give the Lord of the Abyss even more range. And yeah, that's a decent sized platform anyways. So let's just get it up to a 240. And then I think as high and right as possible is where I'm going to put the village. So let's see. We have the village. We can go, or maybe high and left next to Brickell and the Mermonkey. We'll just put it right here. We'll get bigger radius. We will get grow blocker. And then we can get jungle drums before around 72. And let's check out how much the Lord of the Abyss has for range. That is very good. Is there anywhere I can place an alchemist? I probably won't be able to alch buff the Lord of the Abyss, but I think that's okay. We probably will be fine. Yeah, I think we'll be okay. Alright. I do want to get a couple more subs for just damage purposes. So I'm going to place this one as low and left as possible. And wow, we can put that pretty far down. I'm going to get a 203 for now, and then eventually get it up to AP darts. This will increase our Moab damage, because God knows we need that. And now there is a plethora of things we could do for this run. And I am going to hit the drawing board to see what is the next best thing to do. Alright, well we do need to beat round 75. I think I'll just use a snowstorm here. And then for the beginning of round 76, I'm just going to keep it simple and use naval tactics. That absolutely gets destroyed. And there are 2, possibly 3 tier 5s that I'm looking at. None of them, I don't really know if they make sense. I'm going to use Moab Mine for those top BFBs. The first one is Desert Phantom, and that's just because I haven't used it yet. It's not going to be having any buffs with the Nomad and Wanderer, but that's kind of the price you pay for having the Desperado. And I don't even need to use a Snowstorm for the first wave of 78. That's cool. I will get Radar Scanner though, just to be safe. That will give Brickell camo detection, and then it'll give the subs full map camo detection. Not sure it's super needed though. The next tier 5 I was thinking of is Preemptive Strike. That is just because it is the only sub tier 5 I haven't used yet, and I suppose it would be okay. It would, honestly, actually, I think that one makes the most sense. The other one I was thinking of is the Blue Incineration, and that will defortify all BFBs and below. That is probably the one that makes the second most sense. I think Desert Phantom probably makes the least sense. But it's between Blue Incineration and Preemptive Strike. I think Preemptive Strike makes a ton of sense, because it is going to hit every single blimp that comes in. We already have a ton of Pierce, so that's not a huge issue. And Preemptive Strike just does a really good job of doing incredible Moab damage. It makes DDTs a non-factor, which is really, really awesome. I just don't know if I would be able to afford it by round 90, because it's a $31,000 upgrade, and the first strike is a $15,000 upgrade. So that right there is $45,000 with about 2,000. It's probably about $48,000. And we have 17,000. I think we may be able to get $48,000 by round 90. And then from that point on, I can just go all supports. We also could do Grand Saboteur. That is a support option, but I just don't think we have the damage quite yet, so I'm leaning away from that option. I think that Preemptive Strike might be our best bet, though. And if that's the case, I don't think I need to use a Moab Mine. I think we're okay. Let's see. Maybe I'll just use a Snowstorm. That's what we're gonna do. And there we go. So let's just get this sub down. I'm trying to think where to put him. I don't really want to disrupt the mine pile. I could put him here. I think I will. I mean, he doesn't really need to be doing... He doesn't really need to be doing a ton of damage. I could put him here, but that's on the ice platform. I could put him just like away, so that he's not in the range of Brickell. I mean, Brickell has a huge radius. Actually, Maybe I'll just put him on this mine pile and force Brickell to put her mines elsewhere, because this is kind of far away from the track. I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put the sub here. And I'm going to get a... Do I need to get a 240 for the buffed up third tier? Maybe. Sure, let's do it. Let's get a 240 first strike capability. We will use them on rounds with the OMGs, so I'll use one on 85 and one on 87. 84 we should be okay. We're absolutely shredding. I guess I could use a late snowstorm if needed, but it is not looking to be necessary. So here we go, 85, we can use preemptive, or first strike, and then we can use a, oop, I didn't mean to use snowstorm, I meant to use a Moab mine. We'll use a Moab mine on the other ZOMG. And we've got a lot of single target damage. The good thing about preemptive strike is it gives us a strong first strike for the bad, and then we also have Moab mine for around 100, so the BAD shouldn't be the most of our concerns. And we're only $7,000 away from the preemptive strike. So once we get preemptive strike, I think I'm just going straight support. If absolutely necessary, I can get a spike storm if we do need extra damage, but I think we should be okay. Ooh, the Moab mine didn't hit both these ZOMGs. Okay, I'm gonna use naval tactics on 87 just to be safe. A little bit scary. So, there we go. Alright, I'm gonna use a snowstorm on 88 right here, mid-round. And we are getting close. Alright, I'm gonna use a quick Moab mine on the top ZOMG on 88. And I'll just make it easy. I'm not gonna overthink it. I'm gonna use a first strike on 88 for the bottom ZOMG. And then these fortifieds might be a problem. So I'm gonna use a naval tactics until I can get the preemptive strike, and now we are in business. We're absolutely in business. I'm gonna use the blast chain as well on 89, but I mean, look at round 90. Watch the DDTs. You don't even see them. I mean, you do see them, but they all die, which is awesome. Now we can just go straight for support. I think the first option is going to be a Relentless Glue down here at the bottom. Is it really a BDR run without a Relentless Glue? I don't think so. I could even go for like a primary mentoring. But I think Relentless Glue is going to be needed. I'm going to use a Snowstorm and a Blast Chain for round 91. Because it looks like we need a little bit of extra damage. Alright, 013 Moab Glue is what we have at the end of round 91. I don't think I need the globs yet, the bigger, or the splatter, so... Alright, let's use a Moab mine for the top ZOMGs on round 92. And then I'll use a naval tactics. And let's see how we're looking. Do I need to use a snowstorm? I do not need to use a snowstorm. And there we go, Relentless Glue with Glue Splatter is afforded at the end of round 92. And I guess mid-round 93, I'll just use a Blast Chain. And again, the DDTs go down with no issues at all. And the next thing I think I'm going to get is a Boomerang right here. I'm going to put him on Strong. And I'm going to get faster throwing and Kylie Boomerang. I'll get faster rangs. And then, again, at the top, ZOMG is going to use a Mega Mine. I'll use Snowstorm mid-round. We start looking like we're in trouble. We can get Moab Press mid-round. I'll use Snowstorm here just to slow everything down, and I'll use a Naval Tactics. We can use all our abilities on 94 because we're going to have them back for 95. So here we go. We have Moab Press, we have Relentless Glue. Next up, I think I will get I'll get an Embrittlement up at the top, and he'll be just barely in range of the, what is it, Lord of the Abyss. And now we will be able to get Embrittlement mid-round. That'll help a lot with the Mega Mine damage, or the Moab Mine damage, as well as the Lord of the Abyss and the Preemptive Strike. Because if the Preemptive Strike hits these big balloons after they are hit by the Embrittlement, then they'll take even more damage. But I think that, I don't think that anything will. Alright, this round 96 is the round where ZOMGs come in super late, so Preemptive Strike is going to be able to destroy everything up until then. So we will wait until we see some ZOMGs, and then I'm going to use a Mega Mine on the ZOMGs on the top. Since they're embrittlement debuffed, they are going to get shredded into BFBs. And if we can deal with the top path, we can use Naval Tactics for the bottom. And there we go, we're looking great. And now is the part of the run where things get a little dicey. I think I'm going to start with an embrittlement down here at the bottom, right over here, so he's not using too much of the land platform. We'll get a 410, and then I do think I want to get, if I can fit it, can I fit it anywhere? I can't fit it here or here because I kind of screwed myself with the glue. The glue placement was not very good. And then there's nowhere on land I can put it. Ooh, I can put it over here actually. Would that be okay? That might be okay. We're not gonna get the Lord of the Abyss buff, but we don't really need it. I think I'm gonna do it. We're just gonna get a 130 for now. We don't need anything for DDTs. Actually, we might need something for round 99. Maybe the DDTs will be a little bit too beefy. Let's use a first, oh, that's a snowstorm. Let's use a first strike for the top ZOMG. That way we only have one to take care of. Hopefully this round is slow enough where we can stun with the Relentless Glue, knock back with Moab Press, and hopefully get some of our abilities back in time for round 98. We've got everything but first strike. I think that's going to be okay. And we can really just hope and pray. Let's play at round 98. And here's what I'm going to do. Once I know all of the ZOMGs have been embrittlement debuffed, I'm going to use a Moab Mine on the top. And then I'm going to immediately use a Naval Tactics and a Snowstorm. I'm going to use a first strike for one of the ZOMGs at the bottom. And then I'm going to use a Blast Chain in the middle of the round. I don't know if we have enough damage. There is a ton of balloons overlapping each other right now. We need the Pierce from Lord of the Abyss, but it looks like the Lord of the Abyss is pulling through. It's going to get real close, but we also have this Snowstorm slowing down some of the ceramic insides. And just like that, we have beaten round 98. And we almost have our Spike Storm off cooldown for round 99. I think I'm going to use a Snowstorm and a Spike Storm, and hopefully that's enough. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. We have our Mega Mine for round 100. I'm going to probably wait just a little bit to make sure that the BAD has been debuffed by the embrittlement. But I can get another armor-piercing darts that is buffed up by the village and by the Lord of the Abyss. And here we go. As soon as I see that the embrittlement has done damage to the bad, there we go. We can use our Mega Mine, and we can use our Naval Tactics, we can use our Blast Chain, and then as soon as the BAD is in a damaged state, I'm going to wait a little bit longer, a little bit longer, a little bit longer, and now. Beautiful. We did it in one try, baby. Oh my gosh, this was all theory crafting. And we absolutely destroy. I can't remember this map for the life of me. Flooded Valley. I forgot in the half cache that I showed off, except I realized I was muted, so I'll have to do a voiceover for that. But there we go. That's awesome. We have Lord of the Abyss that did, oh, where can I find it? 700,000 damage. The Preemptive Strike did 523,000 damage. The Icicles actually only did 58,000. I thought it would do more. This Armor-Piercing Darts did 145,000 damage. Some of these base Mermonkeys, just the 002s, did a handful of damage. And there we go. Let's see how much Brickell did. Even this one did 100,000 damage. Brickell did 277,000 damage. Wow. Alright, well that's it. Let's check out our black border. Oh man, that looks pretty. And there we go. The third expert map is down. This was not a multiple of 10 episodes that we recorded the expert map on, but I hope you enjoyed nonetheless. That's a fun guide on how to beat Flooded Valley, and I think that you could probably translate that over to your own runs with great success. You just copy what I did and hopefully it works. Let's pull over the spreadsheet as well. We can cross off Lord of the Abyss, and we can cross off Preemptive Strike. And then finally, we can check off Brickell. I thought that I had used her like in the first 10 episodes, but I didn't, so that's kind of funny. Anyways, thank you guys for watching this episode, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.